Kumusta po kayo mga kabayan? In this video, we will discuss the new One Health Pass registration procedure. We will speak in both English and Filipino so that all our viewers will be able to understand. We will provide additional explanations and examples in Filipino language to get our message delivered right to our kababayans. Gagamit din po tayo ng wikang Filipino para magbigay ng mga paliwanag at eksplanasyon para po mas madaling maipabatid sa inyo ang mga mahalagang detalye. Now, it took some time to make this update because we have sent a lot of emails and messages to all the different government agencies in the Philippines and abroad to clarify some of these questions, so we had to wait for answers. And now that we have these clarifications, we can confidently convey this message to you. In this video, starting from today onwards, we will tell you, number 1, the new registration procedure in One Health Pass. Number 2, we will talk about and walk you through how to fill out the forms and give you tips and answers to the most frequently asked questions. Number 3, we will discuss what you need to provide in the port of exit, which is the main question of those with multiple transits or stopover. Marami po ang nalilito dito, so please watch and listen po. Number 4, one of the most important question, when should I register? Kailan ba talaga dapat magrehistro? Number 5, it sounds simple pero sino nga ba ang OFW at sino ang non-OFW? Number 6, so paano naman ang mga dependents ng OFW? Number 7, paano nga ba malalaman kung pasok ka pa rin sa OFW kahit undocumented ka? Number 8, how do I edit my registration? For example, those whose flights were canceled or delayed, those with wrong information. Before we answer these questions, if you are planning to travel to the Philippines, especially in the coming holidays, you have to know that the protocols in the Philippines will change. 100% it will change. So it is important that you stay updated. Please consider to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get the latest and detailed information in our next videos. Also, we want to let you know that we are super happy to see your likes and your comments na nakakataba po ng puso. Salamat po ng marami mga kabayan. Okay po, so to proceed, we have to answer the question, who needs to register in One Health Pass? Sino nga ba ang dapat magrehistro sa One Health Pass? Sa mga kababayan po na naiintindihan na po ito, bigyan po natin ng tsansang iba na malinawan po muna sa bagay na ito. Number 1, all passengers arriving in the Philippines with these airports as their first port of entry. Para sa lahat, ulitin ko po, lahat na mga darating sa Pilipinas at ang unang airport na lalapagan ay Manila or NAIA, Clark, SUBIC, LAOAG, DAVAO International Airports, you need to register in One Health Pass. So how about those arriving via CEBU? To those arriving in the Philippines, if your first airport of arrival is CEBU, you don't need the One Health Pass because you have to register in the Mactan Cebu Airport link. Emphasize po natin, all passengers, it really means all. Lahat po, even minors and infants or babies. One passenger equals one registration. If you are traveling as a family, you can use one email for everyone. So, one mobile number, one email. Basta po isang pasahero, isang rehistrasyon, isang QR code sa bawat isa. Number 2, it does not matter whether you are fully vaccinated or not, you need to register in One Health Pass. Bakunado o hindi, kailangan po ito. Number 3, whether you are Filipino or not, you need to register in One Health Pass. Now, linawin po ulit natin para sa mga nalilito at para po sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam ng patakarang ito. The first airport of your arrival in the Philippines, that is where you will be quarantined and tested. Sa pagpasok ninyo ng Pilipinas, kung saang airport kayo unang lumapag, doon po ang quarantine at swab test ninyo. This first example is easy. If your flight route is Dubai to Manila, then you will enter the Philippines via Manila. So you will be quarantined and tested in Manila. It means you need One Health Pass. Second example, if you are flying from Dubai and you will enter the Philippines via Cebu, and then you will still have to fly to Clark, to your home. In this example, you entered the Philippines via Cebu, so your quarantine will be in Cebu, not in Clark. Okay po? You entered via Cebu, and in Cebu, they are not using One Health Pass. They are using their own registration, which is the Mactan Cebu link. So you don't need the OHP anymore. Last example na lang po para super linaw talaga. Pasensya na po sa mga nakagets na. I just want to make sure po na lahat ng kababayan natin ay naiintindihan po ito. If for example, your flight route is Dubai to Manila to Cebu, dito po, saan pong airport ang unang pasok natin ng Pilipinas? Tama po, Maynila. Kailangan po ba ang One Health Pass sa Maynila? Yes po. So magre-register po tayo sa One Health Pass. Okay, so at this point, you know if you need One Health Pass or not. So sa puntong ito, alam na po natin kung kailangan ba nating magrehistro or hindi. And the next question is, when do you need to register? The answer is 24 hours before departure. Pero dito po marami pa rin ang malilito dahil sabi ng airlines, pwede mag-register anytime po, di ba? So lilinawin po natin yan. In one of our previous videos, in-explain na po namin ito kung bakit nga ba marami pa rin ang nalilito dito, but for the purpose of this video, simplihan na lang po natin ang explanation. The key message is, your QR code is only valid 24 hours before your flight. Okay po, ang inyong QR code ay valid lamang sa loob ng 24 oras bago ang inyong pag-alis. So, kung advance po kayong nagre-rehistro, ito po ay magiging invalid. At kapag po mahigpit ang natapat sa inyo na airline crew, then magkakaproblema po kayo kapag chinek po nila yan. So for example, your flight is on November 19 at 6 p.m. You should generate your QR code 24 hours before your flight, which is November 18, 6 p.m. onwards. Okay po, so exactly minus 1 day po. Parang madali lang pong tandaan, no? Pero ito pong nagpatupad ng patakaran na ito, hindi ko alam kung anong nasa isip niya. Hindi nila naisip itong mga bagay na ito. Una, paano naman po yung mga kababayan natin na magta-travel as a family? Ang daming ire-register. Magagahol po sa oras. Paano naman yung mga kababayan natin na hindi magaling sa mga cellphone tulad ng mga senior citizens po natin, mga nanay-tatay, lolo-lola po natin. At yung iba po, walang internet pagdating sa airport. Hindi rin alam kung paano magko-connect sa mga free wifi. So, sad to say po, ang sinasabi ng BOQ ay 24 hours lang ang validity ng inyong QR code. But we understand po kasi kahit po ako, for example, ang nanay o tatay ko ay magbibiyahe nang hindi ako kasama, then usually gusto ko, ma-ready ko na yan in advance po, di ba? So, ito po ang aming advice or tip mga kabayan. Tandaan pa rin po, importante, valid lang ang inyong QR code 24 hours before departure. So, kailangan nyo po talaga na gawin yan 1 day before or 24 hours before. Ang pwede po ninyong gawin ay mag-practice po anytime. Okay po? Please take note po, hindi ko nagagamitin dito ang term na register in advance para po hindi po magkaroon ng ibang meaning sa iba nating mga kababayan. Ang gagamitin ko pong word ay practice. So, kasi po dito nyo po malalaman na pag nag-register pala kayo 24 hours before departure lang, ay napakarami palang kailangan po na impormasyon. Example, pati yung mobile number ng kamag-anak sa Pilipinas, address, pati yung mga vaccination certificate nyo, pati RT-PCR kapag galing ka ng green country. So, kung gagawin nyo yan 24 hours before departure, mahirap po. Opinion lang naman po yan. Kung gusto nyo pong mag-register talaga 24 hours before departure, then okay lang din po yon. Nasa sa inyo po yon. So, ito po ang mga pasahero na pinapayuhan namin na mag-practice ng registration. Una, if you are not good with cellphones. Second, if you are traveling as a family. Third, if you will not have an internet connection or stable internet connection at the airport. So what will happen if the passenger fails to present a valid QR code? The passenger may not be allowed to board. If in case po magka-problema, Please po mga kabayan, manghingi po ng tulong sa ibang mga Pilipino na nasa airport para po maitama ang inyong One Health Pass registration. So, pumunta po ng maaga sa airport. Now, there are also people asking, can they register directly 24 hours before departure? Tulad po ng sinabi namin, yes, but I recommend this only if you are good with cell phones. You already know what to do, what information you need to provide, and if you know the documents you need to upload. And most importantly, if you have a stable internet connection at the airport. Okay, so in this video, let us assume that we are going to practice to register. To do this, you just have to click the register. Actually, if you click the EHDC, it will ask you if you have already registered. And if you are not yet registered, it will direct you to the register button also. So to make it simple, click the register if you want to practice. And this is very important on the day of your actual departure or one day before, sa mismong araw or one day before ng inyong flight, you need to click the EHDC to complete the process. Okay. Now, if you will make this practice today, then you will realize you need this information and documents. Number 1, passport. Number 2, flight ticket or itinerary. Number 3, your vaccination card if you are vaccinated. If you are not vaccinated, kung hindi kayo bakunado, wala pong problema. Okay po. Number 4, your emergency contact in the Philippines, yung mobile number at yung address po nila. Number 5, where will you go after your quarantine? So, naka-decide na po ba kayo saan kayo tutuloy after ng inyong quarantine? So, if you do this only on the day of your departure, then magagahol po kayo. So, mag-prepare na po. Okay po, so I recommend that you practice this One Health Pass. Okay. Practice or not, actually the things we will discuss will be the same information you will need on your actual registration. So please watch and listen to the explanation. So practice lang po ito pero ganito rin po ang actual na gagawin ninyo sa pagdating ng inyong biyahe. So to those new to the One Health Pass, when you see the red asterisk, it means these are required fields and you need to put the correct information there. Otherwise, it will return an error. Pag walang asterisk tulad dito sa suffix, then hindi required. Kahit po walang ilagay sa mga kahon na ganyan, okay lang po. So to those having a problem with their registration, just check the top portion. If there is this message, values in one or more fields are invalid. So if you see that, just check again if you missed out to provide some required information. Mapapansin po ninyo na pag hindi nasagutan ang required information, mamumula po yan at malalagyan ng note na required. Okay, now let's proceed in the personal profile. What you need to provide is exactly what is written in your passport. So kung ang nakalagay sa passport ay pangalan sa pagkadalaga, ilagay po ang pangalan sa pagkadalaga na nakalagay sa passport. Sa suffix, kung hindi kayo junior, senior, the second, the third, hindi na kailangan galawin po yan kasi hindi po required, walang red asterisk. Sa birthday, birth date, ganun pa rin. Kung ano ang nasa passport, yun ang ilalagay. Pwedeng pindutin itong maliit na calendar at i-type ang taon, then piliin ang buwan at ang petsa ng kapanganakan, then provide the other details. If you don't have a PhilHealth number or you forgot, just type there NA, ibig sabihin not applicable. In the local Philippine number, just use or borrow the number of your relatives or emergency contact in the Philippines. You don't need to have your own Philippine number. Don't worry if the letters are all in capital. It will not matter. It will still send your QR code to your valid email address. In the name of next of kin, ang ibig pong sabihin nito ay pinakamalapit na kamag-anak. Ilagay lang po ang inyong emergency contact number dyan. Pwedeng ang asawa sa Pilipinas or nanay o tatay po ninyo o kahit anak po na pwedeng makasagot ng mga tawag in case of emergency. In the residence details, you have to decide where you will go right after your hotel quarantine. So pagdating po ninyo sa Pilipinas, may hotel quarantine po ang karamihan. Then after that, you still have to complete your home quarantine. Ang ilalagay po dito ay kung saan po kayo uuwi. Saan ninyo tatapusin ang inyong home quarantine. Kung address ng kapatid po ito or address ng magulang ninyo, then yun po ang ilalagay dahil iyon po ang maisusulat sa inyong quarantine certificate na hanapin po ng LGU na inyong uuwian. Then we go to the more complex part, travel details. Most of us will be taking the airplanes back home as aircraft passengers. So if you are flying in a direct flight to the Philippines, then this part is easy. Just provide your country of origin and the city of origin. Example, Riyadh to Manila, we will put Saudi Arabia sa country of exit, then Riyadh sa port of exit. How about if you have a domestic flight? Example, Jeddah to Riyadh, then Riyadh to Manila. The rule is use the last airport where you will exit your country. So dito saang airport po kayo lumabas ng Saudi Arabia? Sa Riyadh po, di ba? So Riyadh ang port of exit. Now, how about those with transit flights? Example, Belgium, then transit in Turkey, then Turkey to Manila. Another example, Washington DC, transfer in Hawaii, then transfer in Guam, then final flight is Guam to Manila. Another one, Lebanon, transfer sa Dubai, then Dubai to Manila. To answer that, the key word here is the word exit. From the word itself, exit, only those who entered can exit. So mag-e-exit tayo kung pumasok po tayo. If you are merely transiting, you are not entering that country. So we sent messages and emails to a lot of embassies and Philippine government offices to clarify this. And fortunately, thank you so much to the Philippine Embassy in Lebanon for giving us an answer. I asked them very specific. What if your flight is Lebanon, then transit only in Dubai, then Dubai to Manila? What is the port of exit? Okay, they answered Lebanon. So tama po talaga, hindi naman kasi tayo pumasok ng Dubai. Nasa airport lang po tayo. Hindi tayo natatakan sa immigration ng Dubai. And this has been clarified for so many times by the IATF through Secretary Harry Roque. So let's just listen to him again.
Meanwhile, lahat po ng mga pasahero kay Pilipino or dayuhan na nagtatransit po sa non-green list country, jurisdiction or territory shall not be deemed as having come from having been to the said country, jurisdiction or territory. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman po silang tatratuhin na parang sila ay nanggaling sa isang non-green country kung sila po ay nagtatransit doon lamang.
Okay po, so malinaw naman po, di ba? Now, pwede na natin sagutin yung tanong. Paano pag Belgium to Dubai to Manila? Country of exit is Belgium. Port of exit is Brussels Airport, so Brussels. How about this? Multiple domestic flights. Washington DC to Hawaii to Guam. Country of exit is USA. Port of exit is Guam. So, what if after Guam may isa pang transit, but this time Japan? So, country of exit will still be USA. Port of exit will still be Guam. Now, the next question here is, what airline will you put there? If you have multiple flights or airlines, just specify other airline in the airline name. Then in the flight number, put all the flight numbers there. So example, if you have American Airlines, then All Nippon Airways, then Philippine Airlines, put all your flight numbers there. Okay po? Last example po, para sure na nagkaintindihan po tayo. So kung ang flight nyo, for example, ay Jeddah to Dammam, then may transit ng Dubai bago umuwi ng Pilipinas. Ano po ang country of exit? Saudi Arabia. Ano po ang port of exit? Dammam. Sinagot na po natin kanina. Bakit po hindi kasama ang Dubai? Kasi po transit lang, hindi tayo pumasok. Pero may clarification po dito kasi may pangalawang tanong po. Sabi natin exit ay Saudi Arabia. Then bakit dito tinatanong ang transit? Okay po, wag pong malito. Unang-una, magkaibang tanong po yan. Yung una, ang tinanong ay saan nag-exit. Kaya sinagot natin doon, nag-exit tayo ng Saudi Arabia. Ito pong pangalawang tanong, ang tinatanong ay saan ang lahat ng lugar na pinuntahan, tinransitan, binisita. So ilagay lang po lahat dyan. Saudi Arabia and then United Arab Emirates dahil po ang Dubai ay nasa UAE. Kung halimbawa nagbakasyon kayo ng Malaysia in the last 30 days, then ilalagay din po natin yung Malaysia dyan. Okay po, malinaw na po tayo dyan. Okay, then after that, provide the other details of your flights. Pag may calendar, pwede po nating pindutin na lang yan. So, pag wala pang seat number, just type NA. Then select yes sa ongoing COVID transmission because sa buong mundo naman po ay mayroon. Unless po sa bansa nyo ay 0 cases na. Then let's go to the type of traveler. If you are OFW or non-OFW or foreign national. Ang mga OFW po ay mayroong valid Philippine passport, may work permit or visa to stay and work sa bansa ninyo at ang inyo pong kontrata ay validated ng POLO o ng POEA. So kung wala po kayong valid work permit at validated na kontrata, pwede pa rin po kayong maging OFW at makakatanggap po kayo ng mga libreng benepisyo ng OWA sa inyong pag-uwi tulad ng libreng hotel at libreng swab. Ang kailangan nyo lang pong ilagay at patunayan ay kayo ay undocumented na OFW. So, kailangan po mayroon kayo ng kahit isa sa mga ito. Una, kung kayo ay dating OFW na nawalan ng trabaho dahil sa pandemic. So, mayroon kayong lumang OEC, OWA membership, mga lumang validated contract, then OFW pa rin po kayo. Pangalawa, kung walang validated contract ng POLO, dapat po kayo ay pumunta sa POLO at makipag-usap para po doon sa proseso kung ano po ang dapat gawin. Pangatlo, kahit wala kayong OEC, basta aktibong miyembro kayo ng OWA, valid pa ang OWA ninyo. Dalhin lang po ang mga resibo ng OWA membership o kung anumang patunay na kayo ay active member ng OWA. Then, undocumented OFW po kayo. Okay po. Kung mapapansin nyo po, for OFWs, may magpapakitang ganito. Wala pong asterisk. Ano pong ibig sabihin? Hindi po required lagyan. So, wag na nating pasakitin ulo natin. Skip natin po yan. Okay. Punta naman tayo sa non-OFW. Kung kayo ay Filipino na naka-tourist visa, balikbayan, dual citizen, kayo po ay non-OFW. Ngayon, yung mga Filipino dependent ng OFW na hindi kasabay uuwi ang OFW, kayo po ay non-OFW. Paano naman po yung mga Filipino dependent ng OFW na uuwi kasabay ang OFW o sabay-sabay po kayong uuwi, then kayo po ay OFW. Ang ilagay po ay OFW kasi pag non-OFW po ang ilalagay ninyo, hahanapan po kayo ng hotel. So kung kasama nyo naman ng OFW na asawa, then OFW po ang ilagay at information po niya ang inyong gamitin. Lastly, if you are a foreign national, you are most likely spouse of a Filipino citizen or investor because as of today, foreign tourists are still not allowed to enter the Philippines. The next part, just provide your vaccination information. This is important because you know that the protocol for fully vaccinated travelers is different. The main change as of today, the lot number or batch number is not required anymore. So, hindi na po required yung batch at lot number. Buti naman po kasi hindi naman talaga mahalaga yung impormasyon na yon. Now, you have to take a picture of your vaccination card or a screenshot of your digital vaccination certificate. Okay, clarification po. Hindi po required ang bakuna para po makauwi ng Pilipinas. Next, for fully vaccinated travelers coming from a green country in the last 14 days, you can bring along with you a 72-hour RT-PCR test negative result. Ulitin po natin, kung kayo ay fully vaccinated at manggagaling sa green country, pwede po kayong magdala ng 72 hours RT-PCR. Ang binanggit po nating salita ay pwede. So, pwedeng hindi, pwedeng oo. Ang RT-PCR test na inyong dadalhin ay para lang po mapaiksi ang inyong quarantine sa Pilipinas. So kung wala kayong RT-PCR test na dadalhin, okay lang po, makakauwi pa rin po kayo, pero may quarantine po. Paano naman yung mga galing ng yellow tulad ng Saudi Arabia, USA, UAE? Hindi po required sa inyo ang RT-PCR test. Ilagay lang po dyan ay no. Then after that is your health declaration. Which countries you visited, transited in the last 30 days? Na-expose ba kayo? So sana po ay no. May napuntahan ba kayo at nakasalamuhan na may COVID in the last 14 days? Sana po ay no. Nagkasakit po ba kayo in the past 30 days? Then just answer po correctly and truthfully. Then declare if you have comorbidities. Sa Tagalog po, ibig lang sabihin ng comorbidity ay karamdaman. So example, kung may hypertension kayo, lalo na po pagkatapos po ninyo mag-fill out ng One Health Pass, baka po may hypertension na po kayo. Huwag naman po sana. After that, read this long information and in the end, tick the box to attest that all the information you provided are correct. Then mayroong CAPTCHA, i-type lang po kung anong makita ninyo dyan. Then submit, it will turn red. Then click again para maging green. Okay, hindi nag-proceed. So kita po ninyo, ito sa itaas, values in one or more fields are invalid. So hanapin po natin ano ang na-miss out natin. So ayun, nakalimutan pala natin yung flight number natin. So, ilagay po natin PR5655. Then, i-review po natin kung kompleto na ba talaga. Then, nawala po yung vaccination certificate. So, i-upload po natin ulit yan. Okay, then i-check din po kung pati yung RT-PCR ay nawawala. I-upload po natin ulit. Okay, we will just have to make sure na nandito pa rin po lahat ng information na provide natin. Yung health declaration. Okay, so mukhang kompleto na. Then, go to the end. Type ulit yung CAPTCHA. And then, click submit. Naging pula. I-click ulit hanggang maging green. Okay, then at this point, we can generate our QR code. Then let's click on the generate QR code. Then you will receive your QR code. I-screenshot po ito at isulat sa papel. Matatanggap din po ito sa inyong valid email na pin-provide. Okay, now that we have a QR code, the good news for you is even if this was just a practice, this information is already saved in the One Health Pass. But you have to get your transaction number. Okay, don't worry. They will not give it to you anymore in the email, the transaction number. But this is how you can get your transaction number. Bakit mahalaga po na kunin pa rin natin yung transaction number? Nagpa-practice lang naman tayo. Kasi po kapag may transaction number na kayo, hindi nyo na po kailangan ulitin yung mga ibang nailagay na po ninyo. Pagdating ng araw ng inyong flight, pwede kayong mag-login sa EHDC gamit ang transaction number. So, ipapakita po natin yan mamaya. For now, ang aming tip sa inyo ay kunin ang transaction number after niyong makuha ang QR code. So, pumunta po sa One Health Pass website muli. Click on the My Profile. Then, input your QR code number. Sa mga hindi po alam, ito po yung QR code number ninyo, yung nagsisimula sa OSS at may kadugtong na mga number. Click search and then makikita nyo na po sa baba ng QR code yung transaction number. So, isulat na po natin yung QR code at transaction number po natin sa papel. Now, 24 hours before your flight, you have to generate a valid QR code. So, malinaw po ito, pinaulit-ulit po natin. 24 hours before your flight, you have to generate a valid QR code. Go to the One Health Pass. Click the EHDC icon. Now, if you have already did your practice registration, you can actually use that information. So, if you have your transaction number, you can input your transaction number. So, that is why we ask you to write down that transaction number during our practice, because we can use that information para hindi na natin uulitin po. So, paano kung nakalimutan o nawala yung transaction number? Okay lang po, ulitin na lang po, wala pong problema kahit ilang ulit ang registration, basta po ang QR code ay 24 hours before departure. Sabi nung iba, hindi raw kailangan ng transaction number. Well, kung sa airport kayo magre-register, dahil tulad ng sinabi natin, kung mahusay naman kayo sa technology, then walang problema, diretso QR code. Pero advice pa rin namin, kunin pa rin ang transaction number dahil kung may mali kayong nagawa at ipababago sa inyo, makaka-login lang kayo at makaka-edit gamit ang transaction number. So para po sa mga sumusubok gumamit ng QR code nila sa pag-login, mag-error po yan kasi po transaction number po ang kailangan. Okay, now let's assume that our flight will be tomorrow. So we can now generate our final and valid QR code. Go to the One Health Pass website, then click EHDC. Input your transaction number and your last name, then search. Now this is what I was talking about. We already have our information saved here, so we can save some time and hindi na tayo masyadong stress. Okay, so on the day of our flight in the EHDC, we will just review and check if all our information here are still valid and make corrections if we need to. Okay, so after we check everything, click on I agree again and then enter the CAPTCHA. Okay, then after that, click on update. Will turn red, then click it again to make it green. And then okay, there's an error here, so we have to find out the error. Okay, so here we can see that it's asking if you are currently pregnant. So let's answer whether yes or no if you are pregnant or not. And then review it once again, then click on I agree. And then CAPTCHA again. Click on update until it turns green. And then, okay, when everything is fine, we can generate the QR code. So this will be our final QR code. Now, we are ready to go to the airport. Pag po nasa quarantine hotel na kayo, sa One Health Pass, pwede nyo rin i-track ang inyong swab test result. Then, andyan din po yung quarantine certificate. Kapag nakaka-experience kayo ng ganitong klaseng error, i-refresh lang po ang page. Okay? Thanks for watching mga kabayan. God bless you and your flight. Stay safe at mabuhay po kayo. Sana ay nakatulong ang video na ito. Kung may mga katanungan, ilagay lamang po sa comment section at pipilitin po namin itong sagutin. Salamat po and see you on the next update.